Hello and good evening, I'm Azlani and you're watching News at 10. Making the headlines tonight, PM calls on Malaysians to stay united. And government set lower chicken's ceiling price. Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Pemaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria have extended their greetings to Malaysians celebrating Chinese New Year. Their Majesties, in a post on Istana Negara's official Facebook account, also expressed hope that the people and their loved ones would be blessed with prosperity, well-being and happiness. Their Majesties also hope the Chinese New Year celebration would further strengthen unity and the spirit of goodwill among the people of various races, religions and ethnicities. Their Majesties advised members of the public celebrating the festival to always prioritize safety and health by complying with the standard operating procedures set by the government. The Chinese New Year celebration begins tomorrow, ushering in the Year of the Tiger. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob expressed hope that all the government's effort to ensure economic stability and people's well-being would be further improved in the Year of the Tiger this year and beyond. In conjunction with the Lunar New Year, he also called on all Malaysians to stay united in supporting the government's efforts to revive and restructure the country's economy to enable Malaysia to become a fully developed nation. While wishing Happy Chinese New Year, on another development, the National Action Council on Cost of Living NACCOL that met today set RM8.90 as the maximum price for standard chicken, 20 cents cheaper than the fixed ceiling price of RM9.10. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, who chaired the meeting, also said the price of chicken eggs for all grades will remain the same as currently set under the Keluarga Malaysia Maximum Price Control Scheme. Both will take effect from 5th February until 5th of June. In a statement today, the Prime Minister said the government will provide subsidies to ensure the price of items can be controlled, and details on the subsidies will be carried out by a cost of living task force headed by the Agriculture and Food Industry Ministry, MAFI. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said besides this, import permits for whole chicken is now open to all chicken importers with approved permits, AP. Before this, they could only bring in chicken parts such as wings and thighs. He said the meeting also agreed that hypermarket operators are given the AP to import chicken and directed the Malaysia Competition Commission to investigate whether cartels are operating and are setting the prices of chicken and eggs. The Prime Minister said the meeting also made two other decisions: for the Finance Ministry to study tax incentives to encourage poultry farms to undergo transformation, and that application of foreign workers from Bangladesh to work in the sector will be accepted in stages. Victims of a freak storm that caused damage to houses in several areas in Ipoh, Perak yesterday will receive financial assistance of RM1,300. The storm, which struck at about 6 p.m, caused damage to 219 houses in Taman Desa Seri Cepo, Kampung Tawas, Taman Tasik Damai and Kampung Seri Klebang, Tambahan Jaya. An initial wang ehsan of RM300 has been disbursed by the state government to each household today. Perak Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Sarani Muhammad said the state government would also appoint a contractor to repair their houses.
Kita nak kena selesaikan dengan segera bumbung mereka yang tercabut ataupun bilangan zinc yang telah diterbangkan angin. Dibimbangi jika ada hujan turun, maka air hujan akan memberi kerosakan yang lebih teruk ke dalam kawasan rumah tersebut. Jadi kita sedang mencuba sedaya upaya untuk menyelesaikan masalah ini.
The Menteri Besar was met after visiting the victims today. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Special Functions, Datuk Mastura Muhammad Yazid, said the remaining RM1,000, which was from National Disaster Management Agency, Natma would be distributed after she had obtained the list of the affected victims. Hundreds of homes were damaged during a tornado-like freak storm in several villages at about 6 p.m. yesterday, leaving most of the Chinese residents in Kampung Tawas, who will be celebrating Chinese New Year tomorrow, in despair. Plantation Industries and Commodities Minister Datuk Zuraida Kamarudin has assured that the U.S. Custom and Border Protection (CBP) for its hasty and unwarranted action against Sime Darby Plantation Berhad SDP. She stressed that the Malaysian palm oil industry operates under strict standards in line with the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) of the United Nations. According to Datuk Zuraida, her ministry is also working closely with the Ministry of Human Resources and the Ministry of Environment and Water to ensure that the country's oil palm industry complies with domestic and international laws and practices. The CBP has issued a withhold release order (WRO) on palm oil, including all crude palm oil and palm kernel oil and derivative products made wholly or in part with palm oil traceable to SDP on 16th December 2020. The U.S. authorities had allegedly established that there was a reasonable evidence to demonstrate SDP harvested the fruits and produced the palm oil using forced labor. Under the WRO, products can still land in the U.S. but cannot be traded or processed. Zuraida said the ministry would seek further clarification on the issue from the relevant agencies in the U.S. so that an immediate solution could be reached. 3 community internet centres PID in Pahang will be fully upgraded to the Keluarga Malaysia Digital Economy Centre PEDI in the first quarter of this year. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa in his tweet said the 3 PIDs were in Bukit Goh, Kuantan, Sungai Koyan Lipis and Felda Bukit Selancar 1 in Rompin. He said each PD will provide training and guidance in digital economy to help produce more digital entrepreneurs among the rural communities. He also expressed hope that the people in areas which have been provided with a PD will make optimal use of the centres. The government aimed to set up at least 1 PD in each state constituency in the country, with each PD having its own advisory panel, comprising representatives from the local communities who could offer relevant advice and suggestions. Up next, police seized drugs worth 5 million ringgit. Stay tuned. The National Higher Education Fund Corporation (PTPTN) recorded a total of 3.01 billion ringgit in deposit collection for the National Education Savings Scheme (SSPN) account for 2021. This is an increase of 1.02 billion ringgit or 50.95% compared to 1.99 billion ringgit in 2020. PTPTN Chairman Dato' Wan Saiful Wan Jan in a statement today regarded it as an encouraging achievement as it was the highest collection since 3 years ago, with 1.14 billion ringgit recorded in 2018 and 1.37 billion ringgit in 2019. The total amount of SSPN deposits accumulated until 31st December 2021 was 10.88 billion ringgit, while the deposit received for 2021 was 3.01 billion ringgit, which is 167.08% of the year's target of 1.8 billion ringgit. He said a total of 421,281 new SSPN accounts were opened last year, surpassing the annual target of 400,000 accounts. As of last 31st December, a total of 5.24 million accounts had been opened. PTPTN has assisted 140,977 students to further their studies at institutions of higher learning last year through approved education loans amounting to 3.51 billion ringgit. SMTrack Berhad has denied the allegation of its involvement in the current radio frequency identification RFID projects for the country's toll plazas. Deputy Executive Chairman Rasmi Osman said to date SMTrack was not involved in the project. In a statement, Rasmi said the political propaganda is irresponsible and SMTrack will take appropriate actions against baseless accusations to protect the integrity of the company. He also refuted the allegation that the appointment of Datuk Saiful Nizam Muhammad Yusof as an independent and non-executive director of the company was related to a political connection. He added that the company also did not involve Tan Sri Lee Kim Yew in any lobbying for any projects, despite the emergence of Lee as its substantial shareholder. A police report has been lodged today against 3 news portals for disseminating fake news and defamation against Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob. Political Secretary to Prime Minister Datuk Muhammad Anwar Mat Yunus lodged the report at the Dangwangi District Police Headquarters at about 2:40 p.m. Datuk Muhammad Anwar said the portals had issued false reports, adding the fake news and the event in the statement happened when the Prime Minister was at a function in Borough on 29th January. Even at the media conference, the 3 journalists from the portals were not present at the location and have twisted the statement to raise doubt over the credibility of Prime Minister.
Kita buat report polis dan kita akan adukan benda ini kepada peguam, pihak peguam, dan pihak peguam akan mengambil tindakan seterusnya, dan kita pun dah minta pihak polis mengambil tindakan.
Dangwangi District Police Chief ACP Noor Delhan Yahya has confirmed receiving the report. The Kuala Lumpur Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department (NCID) successfully crippled a drug syndicate after seizing 5.08 million ringgit worth of drugs in 4 raids around Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. They also arrested 6 members of the syndicate. Kuala Lumpur Deputy Police Chief Datuk Yahya Osman said that during the raids, 141 kilograms of shabu, 0.7 kilograms of heroin and 4 Arimin pills were seized.
Jabatan Siasatan Jenayah Narkotik Ibu Pejabat Polis Kontijen Kuala Lumpur yang telah melancarkan satu operasi dinamakan Ops Mitch dan berjaya menumpahkan satu sedikit pengedaran dadah yang didalangi warga negara asing dan tempatan, yang mana bekalan dadah ini adalah dipercayai untuk pasaran tempatan.
The suspects are now being remanded between 4 to 7 days under Section 117 of the Criminal Procedure Code. Upon further investigations, the suspect could be charged under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952, which carries the mandatory death sentence upon conviction. Police have arrested 7 individuals suspected of being involved in Bitcoin mining activities from 19th January until today through Op Electric Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB Bitcoin. Kedah Police Chief Commissioner Wan Hassan Wan Ahmad said they also seized 3,245 Bitcoin mining machines, with the total seizure amounting to an estimated 3.2 million ringgit. The modus operandi of the syndicates is to make illegal electrical connections and use the business premises or residential houses as a platform to carry out their activities. The suspects will hire workers who are good at making illegal connections and to guard the premises.
Uh, 35 tahun sehingga 45 tahun. Riman ada sampai 5, ada 3 hari, tetapi semuanya telah dijamin lah. Telah dijamin kerana ketaslahatan ini kita memerlukan laporan kepakaran ataupun laporan pakar daripada pihak TNB untuk refer. Kita akan refer kes ini kepada pihak pendakwa raya untuk membuat sama ada kewajaran dituduh di bawah seksyen berapa yang terlibat lah.
Wan Hassan said the current price for a unit of mining machine was between 1,000 and 1,500 ringgit. Investigation is being conducted under Section 379 and Section 427 of the Penal Code, as well as Section 37 subsection 3 of the Electricity Supply Act 1990. Coming up in sports, Egypt booked a spot in Africa Cup of Nations semi-final. Stay tuned. National cycling ace Dato' Muhammad Azizul Hasni Awang's father, Awang Embong, died of a stroke early today. The Olympic medalist's brother-in-law, Muhammad Razman Muhammad Said, his father-in-law, breathed his last at 12 a.m. at his home in Dungun, Terengganu. Earlier this week, Awang, 72, who also suffered from dementia, was admitted to a private hospital in Kuala Terengganu and was warded for 4 days before being discharged yesterday. Funeral prayers for Awang was held after the Zuhur prayers at Surau Ustad Omar Shukri before being laid to rest at the Said Yahya Muslim Cemetery in Dungun. Muhammad Razman said he had communicated with Dato' Azizul Hasni, who is currently undergoing training in Melbourne, Australia, at 5 a.m. today to share about the funeral arrangements for Awang. Meanwhile, Dato' Azizul Hasni's brother, Muhammad Azrul Hafiz, said his late father has always been supportive of his children's interest.
Kalau anak dia minat sukan tu, dia support lah. Dia masuk main bola ke, sukan basikal ke, berlari. So dia nampak minat Azizul tu kepada basikal. So dia bagi semangat lah, sokongan sepenuhnya lah, sebab dia tahu kalau anak dia minat sesuatu benda tu, dia akan buat 100% punya. So dia percaya, dia pun dah cakap lah, kalau Olimpik semua ni kan, dia tahu anak dia ni memang boleh result terbaik lah cakap.
In a Facebook post, Dato' Azizul Hasni shared the sad news of his father's passing and prayed that his soul would be placed among the righteous. Malaysia's men's doubles pair of Chia Wei-ji and Loh Hang-yi clinched their first international title of the 2022 season at the Ukraine Open after beating Danish pair Emil Lortzen and Mats Vestergaard in 3 epic games on Sunday. Wei-ji and Hang-yi started somewhat shaky when they lost narrowly in the first game 19-21 before bouncing back to claim the title by winning the next 2 games in 22-20, 23-21. The win was certainly a tonic for their frustration after losing in the Swedish Open final to Singapore duo Denny Bawa Krisanta and Andy Kwek 13-21, 21-23 last week. The Badminton Association of Malaysia, in a post on their official Facebook account today, congratulated the young pair. Mohamed Salah starred as Egypt reached the Africa Cup of Nations semi-finals yesterday and were joined in the last 4 by Senegal. Morocco took the lead through an early Sofiane Boufal penalty, only for Egypt captain Salah to equalise early in the second half, following up to score after Mohamed Abdelmonem header was saved. Egypt goalkeeper Mohamed Abu Gabal then tipped a late Nayef Agard header into the crossbar as the game went into extra time, and the record 7-time continental champions found the winner in the 100th minute. Salah made it with some excellent play on the right before his low delivery to the back post was turned in by Mahmoud Trezeguet. Egypt will play host Cameroon in the semi-finals at the Olembe Stadium in Yaoundé on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football gave the stadium the go-ahead to host the match and the final after lifting the temporary suspension of the venue where 8 died, including a child, on 24th January. If you're looking for a movie to watch this Chinese New Year, look no further than the latest film from director Ryan Lee, titled Small Town Heroes, a truly Malaysian movie made to depict almost everything our multicultural country has. A story about friendship and family, about happiness and sorrow, and most of all, about so many things we can relate to, regardless of whether you're Chinese, Malay, or Indian, or any other colorful characters we come across every day. The movie follows the friendship of 3 young protagonists. It opens with Hero, played by Roger Shack, who was led by his mother at the Xingfuyan or House of Happiness or orphanage in the countryside. He befriends Foa Chandler's character, Ah Feng, who loves martial arts novels, and Aisha, played by Leila Sania, a substitute teacher who dreams of becoming a wrestler. The 3 of them then embark on a journey of interesting and unexpected discoveries. The cinematography is beautiful as it shows childhood, places we all used to live, recall memories and the good things about Malaysia in the days of old. There were notably some beautiful scenes of Malaysian countryside, including the iconic Penang ferry service and the flower concert in Butterworth. What we liked about the movie is how the mood keeps changing, from extreme happiness and laughter to some really mellow scenes which tug your heartstrings and make you feel what the characters feel. The intensity goes up and down, plus the movie includes quite a few plot twists that finally complete the movie. Special mention especially to Pua Chandler's Feng and his relationship with Jack Lim's character, a bold but attentive delivery driver, while the rest of the cast performed admirably enough, making small town heroes enjoyable for the whole family. According to the movie's executive producer Aaron Koh, the movie basically called on all Malaysians to be brave and overcome whatever difficulties they face, especially during the pandemic.
Okay, the small town hero basically is to encourage everybody to be brave, to be courage during this difficult time. So I encourage everyone come and watch the movie to be brave to yourself and overcome the difficulty during the pandemic time. Stay tuned, small town hero.
After watching a special screening of the movie, we strongly suggest our viewers to go and enjoy this truly Malaysian movie and immerse yourself in the simple yet complicated lives of all the characters. Don't worry, as it comes with English and Malay subtitles. News at 10 gives Small Town Heroes a 4 out of 5 stars. Small Town Heroes opened on 3rd February at cinemas nationwide. And with that, we reached the end of tonight's News at 10. Our headlines for today: PM calls on Malaysians to stay united to revive economy. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. We'll leave you with a clip of Chinese New Year celebration in China. I'm Azlani Adani. Thank you for watching and Happy Chinese New Year.